I understand that I was found guilty by a jury. I'm not here to dispute that at all. The only consideration that I ask of you this morning is for you not to consider anything as it relates to the case regarding my daughter Harmony. I did not kill my daughter Harmony, and I look forward to my upcoming trial to refute those offensive claims.
You admit to each and every element of the offense of falsifying physical evidence and abuse of corpse. Is that accurate? Okay. And did you speak with your lawyers in detail about that?
Yes, I did.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. Testimony we're expecting to resume tomorrow in New Hampshire versus Adam Montgomery. It's the case over Harmony Montgomery's murder. And we're wondering if the jury is ever going to hear from Harmony's father and the alleged killer, Adam Montgomery. The defendant did speak to police in the days after his daughter was reported missing, but he was very reluctant to assist investigators in the search for his 5-year-old. Her remains have yet to be located. Could the jury see this evidence at trial? The state hasn't admitted it yet, but we're paying attention to see if it's going to be the last piece of their evidence. Here's a look back at what he told law enforcement during that interview.
We have a lot of worried people and scared people right now in the community. I know you're worried about the well-being of your daughter, and I kind of want to get ahead of this, because I don't want you to be painted as a monster.
Well, that's what you guys are already doing.
I am?
No. Oh, yeah.
Can you explain that to me?
That's what you guys are already trying to do, man.
Explain to me how I'm trying to make you, or whoever is trying to make you out to be a monster. Who's telling you that stuff? Is there somebody that I work with that told you that? Somebody you're close with, that they told you that?
No.
All right. But you understand this whole thing is getting a little out of hand, would you agree?
Of course. But
So that's why...
no, it's just the way you guys are going about it.
And again,
Yeah,
I don't make...
Not you specifically, but
Right.
yeah, nobody comes out there like that for a second-degree assault charge. Nobody. They're arrested for worse charges. They don't come out and throw flashbangs at my girlfriend's car and ram us into the guardrail. They don't do that for a second-degree assault charge.
Again, you understand what the charges are, right?
Second-degree assault, right?
Yep.
Okay.
There's also an endangering the welfare charge
Okay.
and interference with custody. Okay,
So
so
how did I interfere with custody?
that paperwork that we served you the other day, you remember that?
Okay.
When they were in the alleyway, remember outside of on Lake Ave?
Yeah.
There's paperwork that you have to comply with. You understand that, right?
Okay.
We had that conversation, did we not? Right? So that's what that's all about.
So second-degree assault charge, what is this referring to?
Well, that's what we want to talk to you about.
Well, explain to me if I'm being charged with it. What the hell am I being charged with it for?
Well, your daughter had some injuries
What?
that you know about when you lived on Guilford Street.
No, I do not. What are you referring to?
Well, you were there, I wasn't, right?
What are you referring to?
I'm referring to her having some good marks.
What are you referring to?
Marks that were left on her by you.
Absolutely not. I have nothing else to say. You guys are completely out of line. So,
Me?
yeah.
Do I? In the time you've known me, which
What you just said to me, you guys are completely out of line.
Okay, but so explain to me, how are we out of line?
I have nothing to explain.
Okay, but wouldn't you rather explain it so we can make sense of it than just have other people's side of the story? Like, you want to defend yourself and like this picture people are painting of you? Now's your chance, man. Defend
Whose side of the story? Who's telling you these things?
people that were close to you.
Obviously not.
Well, maybe at the time, maybe not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw that reward on the news, right?
No, I did not.
Do you know that the reward is about $40,000 to find where your daughter is right now?
Okay.
When you start throwing money around like that, people come out of the woodwork that you would never expect to do.
Okay.
So, like I said, when I talked to you a few days ago,
Can I have another cigarette?
Sure. I kind of told you this thing was going to get a lot bigger.
That's not right.
And we wanted to get ahead of it.
But you're sitting there telling me that right off the rip that there was something wrong with my daughter because of me. No, that's
Okay. So if your daughter had marks on her at some point when you lived over there, how would you explain those?
How was she got those marks?
well, I would love to know when the marks were there because DCYF came to my house multiple times.
Okay. And we know that they came there.
Right. And closed the case.
Okay. Do we know that DCYF is the flagship agency in the country?
No, but if there was significant marks like you're referring to, I believe they would have flagged something at that point and they would have said something. They wouldn't have came there and seen that the kids were well taken care of. All the kids loved being at the house with me.
So let me tell you about what second degree assault is. Because there's a lot that encompasses that charge. Basically, if there's a mark on a kid that's under a certain age, it constitutes second degree assault. Although it is a felony, which sounds extremely intimidating, it doesn't mean that somebody got their head bashed in or they got cut up or whatever. So although it sounds pretty intimidating, the charge, I understand that. What we're talking about doesn't mean that it's the craziest crime that's ever been committed. Do you understand what I mean?
Okay.
So somebody could have a bruise or a really bad welt on them, and that would constitute second degree assault for a kid under a specific age. So that's why that charge is there. So nobody is saying that you took like a baseball bat or like stabbed your kid. Like, I'm just going to put that out there. That is not what anybody's saying about you. Mm-hmm. So I know you're concerned with when I say second degree assault, but it sounds a lot worse than I think you're thinking it is. Are we kind of on the same page?
Yeah, but for you to sit there and say that it was inflicted because of me.
We're just going on what we hear. You're not telling us how, so we're going with what we have.
But I don't even know what you're referring to. What are you referring to?
Your daughter had a mark on her face that people, multiple people, have told us was inflicted by you.
Multiple people that weren't even living with us at the time.
Well, there was enough people that had spoken about it.
Yeah.
People share knowledge of what they know.
So somebody, you telling him, and then he tells you, and then he tells you, so something that just gets passed down the line.
I'm not talking about like a game of telephone here. I'm saying that people say a story and then the details kind of fill themselves in, like corroborate. Do you know what the word corroborate means?
Of course I do.
Okay. You're a smart guy. I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but when people kind of fill in the blanks, that's what I mean by like we're corroborating that story. But this is your time to tell me, kind of explain that. You know, if you're saying this was a mistake or this was an
I don't even know what you're referring to. Like, that's what I'm trying to get at, is I don't even know what you're referring to.
I'm saying she had a mark on her face. I mean,
Okay, I don't even know what you're referring to.
you don't recall your daughter ever having a mark on her face?
The reason DCYF came out to visit you guys, you don't recall that? Why did DCYF come out and start visiting you guys? What was the allegation?
If I remember correctly, it was because of, I believe at the time, I could be wrong, I believe it had something to do with my uncle saying I was using drugs, and I wasn't.
Now, who's your uncle so we are clear?
Kevin
Okay. And Kevin's last name?
Montgomery.
Now, he lived there with you?
He lived there with me right around the time when I was first going back to get custody from my daughter. At the time, I was going for custody for my daughter for at least a year already at that point. And Crystal was showing no interest of going to get our daughter back. So finally, in like, I don't know, December, January, February, something along them lines. The courts called me, told me I could come pick her up and bring her home. Brought her home. And then, I don't know, it was, I think the month before, my grandmother left with my brother and his girlfriend. And then the month after, I want to say, Kevin left.
So then who was left living at the house?
Me, Kayla, and the kids.
What time did DCYF get involved with you guys? Like, were they over there often, or was it just like a certain period of time? Or
They were there every single day.
Could this be a preview of what we can expect from Adam Montgomery on the stand if he chooses to testify? A bit offended there, indignant, casual with his cigarette, tapping it and the ashes away. We'll see more of what Adam Montgomery told police. Keep in mind, this was back in 2021. His daughter went missing in 2019. Detectives start turning up the pressure in more of that video as they are trying to find Harmony. You don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere.
I'm the armor, or at least I was.
A famous actor in a movie set accident that ended in tragedy.
I try and cock the gun goes off.
Now, Alec Baldwin and the film's armorer have both been charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Just because it's an accident doesn't mean that it's not criminal.
Court TV takes you inside the courtroom as Hannah Gutierrez faces a jury.
The Baldwin movie shooting trial. Live coverage this week following jury selection. Only on Court TV.
Welcome back. Thanks for following along with us this morning. We have more of Adam Montgomery's police interview in the days after his 5-year-old daughter Harmony was reported missing. In this portion of the investigation, detectives are pushing Adam for answers, but their attempts seem to be stonewalled.
so Christina takes you guys in, and then she's doing all right, and then would you guys move over to Union Street after that? Is that when you guys get that spot?
Nope, we go to the shelter.
And that's the one on...
Like,
Okay.
Who's we? Who went to a shelter? They allowed you to go as a family to the shelter?
See, I thought they didn't like guys there for some reason.
They always let guys there. They didn't let me in there this time for no reason. The reason was because I would have been there with Kayla again.
So back then they let you in there,
Yeah, yeah.
and it was all of you guys. Like, it was the five of you. They let you guys stay there.
No. All right, so yeah, you guys are just...
I'm trying to understand. I don't know your timeline of life, man. You're there. I'm not. That's why I'm trying to ask you these questions to clarify them.
I already told you the other day what transpired. So we didn't even go to her mother's house.
Okay. Who didn't go to her mother's house?
Harmony was on.
Okay, so Harmony didn't go to Chris's house. So explain to me how she didn't end up going to Chris's house.
I've already explained this to you.
Okay.
Well, there's some discrepancies between what you're telling us and what other people are telling us. You're saying you brought her down to Mass. Somebody said she came up from Mass.
I never once said I brought her down to Mass.
What did you say? She came up here to get her?
I never once said. I was audio and video recorded the other day. I never once said I went down to Mass.
So you're saying that she came up from Mass?
I'm not saying anything else.
Why is it that you refuse to talk about her every time we bring her up?
Because you guys are just sitting here beating a bush. It's over and over. You guys asked me what happened the other day. I told you what happened.
You wouldn't tell us the other day. You
guys talked to me the other day. I explained to him what happened the other day. And now it was just a charade. Yep, no, don't worry about it. You're not under arrest. And now come up.
They didn't arrest you.
No, the other day, no, but then you had a SWAT team roll up on me and the D-Techs follow me around for the last 3 days.
Yeah, the people are coming out of the woodwork. That's what we're trying to tell you. Like, we don't want you to be painted as a monster. We want you to maybe explain yourself a little bit and give us some side of your story. We have nothing. We have just what we're hearing from people. $40,000 can drag a lot of people out, whether you believe you're your friends or not.
No, I bet
it's a lot of money. Man.
Yeah, I know it is. Absolutely, it is.
That's what we're trying to get. Now's your time. Like, you keep locking up on us. You don't want to tell us anything about her.
No, I got nothing else to say.
We have people around the clock calling into us. giving us tips from all over the country because they care too to try to find where she is. My only goal, which I told you the other day, is to make sure that she's safe. I don't want you to get tied into something if you didn't do anything wrong. My job is not to jam somebody up for something that they didn't do wrong. And if you can tell me that you didn't do anything wrong, then I want to believe you because, dude, I've met you now a few times. I helped you out when you were at the hospital when you were having a meltdown. You told me about your kids. I sat there and I talked to you. Dude, I could taste you right there, and I didn't do that because I saw deep down inside that you were hurting and that I wanted to help you. Right now, all I'm trying to do is help your daughter. I want to bring her home, and I can't do that without your help. Dude, I can't do that without your help. Help, hey, can you look at me? Help me, please. That's all I'm asking for. I can't sleep until I know that she's okay. And I know that you know where she is or what happened to her, but I can't do it without your help. And if you don't want to look like the animal, because I don't think you are. Not that I don't think you are, I know you aren't. But I can only do so much for you, man.
I know.
I'm begging you to help me. Because as much as you're hurting inside, I'm also hurting inside. And I don't know how you can sleep at night because I'm sure it's eating out of you. Am I wrong?
No, see, me and Pops, I know I'm not seeing my wife, I'm not seeing my kids, you guys are just playing games, like this is just...
Dude, but I'm not trying...
We're not trying to play games again, man.
Like, telling my wife and kids that I'm not allowed to see my wife and kids, like...
But dude, that was a mistake from some court paperwork that hadn't been updated. So like I said, I apologize for that.
But it was updated, and DCYF told them...
No. This was some, like, DV paperwork I'm talking about.
But I'm talking about DCYF already told us multiple times that there was no contact order.
Maybe through DCYF, but...
It could have been through DCYF.
Yeah.
So let's forget about it.
Right.
You've seen your wife and kids over the last how many days, right?
I haven't seen them in the last 2. I haven't seen my kids in the last 2 days, 3 days.
Okay. You're always going to be their father?
That's it, guys.
Hey, can you make me a promise? Like, man to man? Can you tell me that she's alive?
You're going to play the same word games that you played with me the other day?
It's not word games.
I got nothing.
Because we care, man. We want to know.
This isn't gonna go anywhere. Like, this isn't gonna stop.
No, it's not.
So either get on the bus now or get run over.
Well, I got nothing else to say.
Why is it you have so much trouble talking about Harmony?
Guys, I got nothing else to say. I want a lawyer with me.
Magic words, I want a lawyer. That's the end of the police investigation. But the big question is, when will the jury see it, if ever? Let's bring back in attorney and former South Carolina prosecutor Tommy Pope and retired police commander and host of the Profiling Evil podcast, Mike King. Tommy, let me start with you. Looking at this from your position of a former prosecutor, is there any reason that we may be missing as to why the state would not want to put this evidence in, or is it likely they're going to end their case in chief with it?
Well, you have to have a hearing first to make sure that he was, if there was a custodial issue, whether it was Red Miranda. I mean, clearly, like you said, the magic words were at the end. I feel like it was really just kind of a circle, and he was evasive. It may be more effective. I mean, you still have to have the hearing to see if it'd be admissible, but if all of this is admissible, I would want to use it on cross-examination, particularly like Mike had said earlier, if he cleans himself up and he comes in and, I would want to ask him on cross-examination, whenever the last point we knew where that body was, where did she go from there? Where did it go from there? Even if he pretends like he's protecting somebody from the murder, tell us where the body is. And I don't see that coming out of it. If he acts like he act there, then maybe I need to recant my previous he ought to testify, because I don't think he's helping himself much there at all.
That's a really good point, Tommy, that at this point he has not ever let anyone know where the remains are. And as of the first day of this trial, he's admitted to being the one to fully dispose of her corpse. So that would be, I'm not sure how it would help him at this point, but that would be something that certainly a jury would want to see that he shared. Mike King, can you react to that? But also, what were you picking up on from this police interview, those detective skills of them trying to get information out of him?
Yeah, I don't know how you and Tommy were feeling, but I felt myself just kind of putting my hands underneath me to keep from bouncing up and down. There's a critical point in an interview where you have the suspect contemplating, and they hit that point in this interview. And what Montgomery does is just kind of classic. He then kind of changes the subject, and he goes from Harmony and this kind of intense moment where he's saying, hey, we're really concerned about finding this little tyke. And you can see him kind of pulling in, and you can see him working his fingers, and it gets quiet. And this is always an uncomfortable moment for the interviewer. And obviously we want it to be uncomfortable for the person being interviewed. But that's a time when you let the seconds tick away. You don't jump in with other things to say, especially if the person that you're focusing on starts to change the subject from Harmony and concern about her to, oh yeah, you really hurt my feelings and you came in with a SWAT team, and then he took them right down another pathway. That's always troubling. And I really appreciated what Tommy was saying about some of the behavior of what you do in court now, because I think it's absolutely in his best interest to tell where this little child's body is. Even if it's in pieces, it's going to buy him a lot of ground. And I hope at some point they're trying to use that to get him to say, just tell us where the body is. Because if he goes to prison for 60 years on a weapons charge, let's just find Harmony.
And let her have some peace. Let her mother, Crystal Sorey, have some peace. Mike King, great insight using your law enforcement background. I'm so thankful to have that here on the show to be able to talk about that investigation, that part. Will we see it in the next couple of days from the state? We will see here on Court TV.